And I am going to share my screen. So again, if you have questions, please unmute because I can only see a few of you when I share screen. So I will miss you if you're like raising your hand or doing something like that. So just unmute and ask me the question if you need to. Can everyone see this? Give me a thumbs up or, okay. So this is the one that I had shared on March 8th, which was the first time we kind of had the schedules all set and ready to go. So I'm just going to move through the schedules first and then on to kind of the procedures for pickup and drop off and whatnot. So the first schedule, let me see if I can I go any bigger? I can't go any bigger. This is the distance learning schedule. So it's the 7th grade homeroom for distance learning. So it's Mrs. Chapman. So we have Ms. Chapman who is on here, Lisa right there. Her mom is a retired teacher and is coming back to do our distance learning students. So she will be doing the language arts history for both 7th grade and 8th grade. But she is the 7th grade homeroom teacher. So she will be the one taking roll and doing all of that for 7th grade. So you can see that she starts her day with 7th grade, doing EL history from the 8 to 10 block. And then basically a break. The students have a break. I know they're at home, but they still get a little bit of a break. And then she'll have the 8th graders that will come in from 10:15 to 12:15. And know that this is just a skeleton. You will get more of a detailed schedule from Mrs. Chapman, and you'll see the 8th grade schedule here in just a second with Ms. Chapman. They both have the same initial too, so I couldn't even do L Chapman and whatever. They both have the same first initial, so it got really confusing. But you'll see that their schedules, basically when you look at Ms. Chapman's, I show you the 8th grade one, it's just flipped. So if I show you that, she starts, Lisa Chapman, who's on here, starts with the 8th grade for math science from that 8 to 10 block, then that break. Then the 10:15 to 12:15, she will take the 7th graders and do math science with the 7th graders. So they are teaming together to do the distance learning for both 7th and 8th grade. However, Ms. Chapman, or Lisa, is the homeroom teacher for 8th grade. So she will take roll and do all of that for the 8th graders. Any questions on either of those two distance learning schedules? And I have shared all this through Jupiter. If you did not get it and need me to send it again, please shoot me an email and I will I'll share the schedule again, but I have shared all this through Jupiter. But I like to go over it because sometimes it gets a little confusing when you're looking at all of these schedules. Okay, nothing for distance learning, so I'm going to move on then to hybrid. So the hybrid schedule, the language arts teachers' homerooms will be coming on Monday, Tuesday. So that's Ms. Woods and Ms. Bell's homeroom. They are the Monday, Tuesday students. And so you'll see morning drop-off is 7:35 to 7:55. I'm going to warn you now, if you are late, you're going to get stuck in a line for the elementary. Theirs starts, we say 8 o'clock, but I'm telling you, parents are there about 10 to 8, kind of starting to line up to drop their kids off. We will send them a message asking them to not come, but closer to 8 o'clock because it will back up with us. They drop off both in the front and in the back because they only have 10 minutes in between each grade level and they've got to get through TK to 6. So we have 7:35 to 7:55. If you're going to be later than the 7:55, you're going to be in a little bit of a line for the elementary schools coming in and dropping off. And then you'll see that the first block There's a group 1 will start with their language arts history teacher, and group 2 their math science. That's what was shared on the website. And you needed to know your student's 6-digit student ID number to know where they fell on that, but it is on the website. I have updated with any changes that have been asked for by parents, but those class lists are now set and locked because we are now having to make changes in our database system to make sure that we are ready to go on Tuesday with roll, and those classes are all set and ready to go. But if you don't know what group your child is in, so whether they're starting in their language arts history room or their math science room, you can go to the website to look at that, or again, shoot me an email and I will answer that for you and let you know which group they're in and where they will start. Okay, and then the same is true for the Thursday, Friday, or the math homerooms. So now you'll see I've changed to Mr. Hamblin. That was Miss Chapman's homeroom. So if your student was in Miss Chapman's homeroom, that's now called Mr. Hamblin. But they are the Thursday, Friday, and you'll just know if they started with math science, that's their homeroom. They're a Thursday, Friday student. And so you'll see they're with the stars at home doing work on Monday and Tuesday with stuff the teachers have assigned. Thursday, Friday is when they are on campus. And again, they should know whether they are a group 3 or a group 4, because when they start to go to line up, they'll need to know, am I lining up at my math science first or my language arts history first? And again, if you don't know that, it's on the website, or send me an email and I'll get back to you with that. Any questions on the distance learning, or on the hybrid? If you notice in the afternoon, from 1 to 1:30 is one group and 1:30 to 2 is another group, and it was the same on the other schedule. The teachers are doing a check-in online or by Zoom with those students that were at home. So the students that are at home on the Thursday, Friday will have a check-in with their teachers in the afternoon. Math science is from 1 to 1:30, and then language arts history would be from 1:35 to 2:05. This is not for direct instruction. It's for students to get help. Like, let's say they were working on whatever they were working on at home in the morning and didn't understand something or need some help. This is that group time check-in to get some help, for teachers to work through some problems and give some guidance on what was given for them to work on. And so it's the same in the afternoon for the Monday, Tuesday kids that are at home. And we didn't use para-educators for that. Our teachers really wanted to be the ones that were connecting with those kids and doing any of the reteaching or answering questions. And so we set that time aside for teachers to do that in the afternoon. And then you'll see office hours are in that later part. So the last part of this presentation before I move on is just kind of the bell schedule. We're not going to have bells, but the schedule as it would be for a bell if we had them. So drop-off time is between 7:35 and 7:55. 7:55 is when we will start sending kids to their rooms to line up on their 6-foot dolphins. We're not dots. We're going to use dolphins as our lineup marker. And then they'll be admitted into the classroom with that. Schedule before school and at break. I had to assign, because I couldn't have 7th and 8th grade mixed. So I assigned just based on the day, but your student, if they're a Monday, Tuesday kid, will get the basketball court area or the outside stage area. I just flip-flopped them. So you can see 7th grade on Monday starts on the basketball court, 8th grade's on the outside stage area, and then it's flipped on Tuesday, so that 7th grade then gets to be on the outside stage area and 8th grade gets the basketball court area. And the same for the Thursday, Friday. They're flipped so that all kids get some part of the yard during their day. And it's the same if they drop off in the morning. 7th grade gets the basketball court at the morning time before school and at break on that day.
Ms. Frenchie, if a student is dropped off after the morning time and you or Ms. Besorti aren't out there to take temperature, are they waiting in the car and calling into the office for you guys to come out? Are they waiting outside the gate?
What I would say is they should come to the gate, but parents shouldn't leave until you've seen us actually take their temperature. The problem with that is going to be if you come during that morning drop off for the elementary, I would say park, send your student over to the gate. We will come to the gate. We see them walk right up. The office managers and office assistant are right there looking out the window, and one of us will come out to scan them. And then we can kind of give you a wave and say, yeah, they're good to go.
And then what about if a parent has to pick up a student early?
So if you have to pick up a student early, you come into the office. Yeah, if you can give us a call first to say, hey, I'm on my way. I have to pick up Johnny. We have a dentist appointment or whatever it is, that will help us actually. But you will have to come in because you will have to let us know that they're going and sign them out. So we have to have that connection with you. And we do have a temperature gauge for you when you walk in. It's a scanner, and you would just take your temperature, and then we'll get your student in and send them out early. Okay. Let's see. I did see something in the chat. I assume who is labeled outside classroom since they may not recall. Paul, can you unmute and clarify what you mean by that? I'm not sure I understand the question to be able to answer.
Just remembering whose classroom is who, so they know when they line up for their math and history group B or group 3 or group 4 or whatever, knows whose classroom is who, or is it marked, clearly marked?
Well, it's marked C1, C2, C3, C4, and that is on that schedule that is on the website. So if they're like a group 1 for Miss Sunday, they start with Miss Sunday, and so they would be on C in C2, but that is on that shared list that was on the website. It tells them which room they start in.
Thank you.
Yes.
Miss Sunday and I also both have big posters in our windows that say Mrs. Woods' classroom, Miss Sunday's classroom.
Yeah, they do. So any other questions about any of this? I'm going to go, hold on, let me move this down to the bottom. So, oh, that is really tiny. There we go. So drop off and pickup procedures. In the morning, you will drive up to the yellow curb that is kind of like, well, it's exactly like we did with the return to recess if you participated in that, but you will drive up to the yellow curb that's right outside the MarkWest Charter office gate. We are to scan students before they get out of the car. That way they're scanned. We will ask you if you have answered no to all of those questions that were on that magnet we sent home. If you did your pickup, you should have that magnet that is on your fridge or on your oven or somewhere that's magnetic, because I know some said, my fridge isn't magnetic. But just so that you can answer no to all of those questions that are on there, and we will ask, you know, what was your answer to the questions on the checkoff sheet? You just say they were no. We take their temperature. They're good to go. We give them a little stamp. We have a different color and shape for every day. That lets the teacher know they have been cleared to be on campus. So again, drop off is 7:35 to 7:55. They'll exit. Hopefully they can exit, you know, on that right side so that they're on the curb side. If it doesn't work out that way, because I know sometimes car seats are in there or whatnot, then we'll just come around, take their temperature, and then they'll come to the curb. Then they'll either walk to class. So like if they get there at 7:55, they'll just walk right to class. If they get there at 7:35, they'll go to their area on the yard. We do have playground supervisors out there. When it's not when it rings, we're just going to say, please head to class. The students will then go line up at their classroom, the 6 feet apart, which we will have painted dolphins on the ground for them to know where that 6 feet is. For pickup, we had to stagger pickup. We couldn't have them all going out at the same time. So release time for 7th grade is 12:20, and they will go out the baseball gate and across the street. We will have a crossing guard, and teachers are out there for pickup to monitor students, maintaining that 6 feet apart. For 8th grade, it's 12:30, and they're on the gate that's near the office, so the students will line up down the curb. There are dots that we had from Halloween, and the students will stay on the curb, but the dots are 6 feet apart, and they can measure themselves down the curb that way. And again, teachers will supervise the areas. So any questions for drop off or pickup? And like I said, if you're late, have your student walk up to the gate. We'll come out, we will scan them, wave at you that they're good to go, and you can leave. There is a chat. If students are walking home, will they just be released? Yes, they will just be released to head off and walk home. And there will be crossing guards posted so that the kids can get across the streets. And it's the same if they're walking to school. If they walk to school, we will still scan them before they walk in the gate. If they are good to go, it's all good. If they have a temperature, and we might make them just stand for a second because they might be hot just from walking here or whatever. But if we redo it and they're above the 100.4, then we will have to give you a call. They'll be sent to our care room to wait for you to come pick them up, but they will not be allowed to enter the classrooms and be on campus. And bike riding, same thing. They'll ride their bike. But if there is a problem and they are sick or they have a fever, we cannot let them walk home by themselves or ride their bike home by themselves. We will have to call you to have you come pick them up. All right, those are the only things I had to share. So I'm going to stop sharing so I can see everybody, because I hate it when I can only see like 4 people on the screen. Okay. Any other questions? Anything else I can go over? Again, just remember, if you're not sure what day your student is on or whatever, please send me an email and I'll get that information to you, or you can go to the website at markwestcharter.org. You will need their 6-digit code. We did put that in Jupyter. So it's underneath their information part where your address and everything is in there. We put it under student ID under Jupyter so that you could actually know what that 6-digit number is. That was easier than trying to find it in Aries, which is always a little bit more of a task. Unless you know you log into Aries, then it's in there as well. But that's the only way we have them posted. We can't post by names by law, so it's just posted by their 6-digit number. And that is where you will see whether they start in C1 or C2, if they're a 7th grader, or C3 or C5, C4 or C5 if they are an 8th grader. Mr. Hamblin will be in C5. Any questions? We're super excited. We are getting ready. The teachers have been working madly to get their classrooms set up and ready to go for students. But yeah, we're just excited to have kids back on campus. All right, if there's no questions, anything else, teachers, that you can think of that I didn't go over?
Excuse me, my mom has a question.
Okay, go ahead, Star.
So do we have to get COVID tested before we start school?
No, you do not. I mean, we would hope that you'll answer those questions that are on that checklist. So if you're sick at all, please don't come to school. We will be checking your temperature when you get here. But yeah, you don't have to have a negative COVID test before you come.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, love.
Ms. Frenchie, did you go over that students need to bring their own supplies to school and that we can't, because we can't share, that they need to have everything their own scissors, their own colored pencils, all that stuff?
I didn't, but thank you. Yeah, they will have to have their own supplies when they are on campus. We can't share any of that. Obviously, if they're missing a pencil and they need a pencil, we will hand them a pencil, but then it's theirs to keep. We won't collect it back, but we won't have full sets of scissors and markers and all of that that we can hand to every student. We sent a lot of that home with distance learning at the beginning of the year. So hopefully they have those sets and they can just bring those in their backpacks. But we don't buy another set to have at the classroom for every student. The Chromebook is the only difference. We will have Chromebooks in the classroom for students. We have enough that when they flip classes and whatever, they will be assigned a different one than the group that was in there just before them. So they will have separate ones. And on Wednesday, we will wipe all of those down to then be used by the Thursday, Friday kids. And then the Friday, we will wipe all of those down to then back to the Monday, Tuesday kids. So the Chromebooks, they don't have to bring back and forth. If they choose to do that, that's up to you. We just know how kids throw their backpacks and kind of toss things down. And we thought, ooh, having an electronic device in there might not be a good idea. So we have enough for them to use. That way they can keep, if you got one assigned from us or you have one at home, they keep theirs at home and can use it for that check-in from 1 to 2.
Textbooks as well. They need to bring their textbooks to and from school every day. We don't have class sets. And we do, but we're not allowed to use class sets because then multiple kids are touching the book each day.
Yeah.
So bring their textbooks to and from school every day.
Yeah, especially like the math ones. I know Miss Sunday gave out almost every single one of her math books. So that one, we don't have another set because we only had one in-class set because it's an online textbook. But that one, they definitely will have to bring back and forth.
In 8th grade, we noted in our parent letter that they don't have to for us or for 8th grade unless the instructor tells them to beforehand. We'll give a heads up if they need them.
With the math book, it is an exception because we have a digital access. So they will have Chromebooks at school. So we can definitely access it through digitally that way. So anyways.
It was just like, I know if a parent said, no, they learn better from the book, then if you think they're going to need the book at school, then you better send it because we don't have any extra copies for sure of that. So anything else? These are all great questions. Thank you. Okay. As always, I'm available by email. So email me. I answer pretty quickly and get back to you with an answer as soon as I possibly can. Like I said, class lists are set and those are on the website. So you can take a look there. It shouldn't be any different unless you asked for a change for whatever reason that might have been, work schedule or whatever. Otherwise, they are in the homeroom that they have been in all year. So again, if that's Miss Sunday and Chapman Hamblin, they are a Thursday, Friday student. If it's Miss Woods, Miss Bell, they are a Monday, Tuesday student. All right, guys. Thanks for coming. Have a great afternoon, and we are excited for Tuesday to happen.
Thank you. Thank you so
We
much.
are too.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Good luck.